The massive ship floated in space like a metal beast waiting to feed. Commander Zethkol stood on the bridge with his forearms crossed, watching the blue planet below. Earth looked peaceful from here, but he knew better. This world was famous across the galaxy as a death planet where everything tried to kill everything else. Perfect, he whispered through his sharp teeth. The other hunters gathered around the viewing screen. There was Eskarath, the 8-foot-tall insect creature with blade-like arms. Hunter Veltanis spread her bat wings and made excited clicking sounds. The massive rock-skinned Korthval stamped his feet, making the metal floor shake. "Look at this beautiful hunting ground," Zethkol said to his crew. "We have spent 20 years watching this planet. We know every animal, every plant, every danger, and now we get to hunt the most interesting prey of all." Lisa Grant sat in a corner of the bridge, her hands tied behind her back. She was a human scientist who had been captured when their scout ships first visited Earth. For months, she had watched these alien hunters plan their deadly game. They had studied her people like animals in a zoo. "You don't understand humans at all," Lisa said quietly. Zethkol turned his reptile head toward her. "We understand perfectly. Your species uses simple tools and lives in groups. You are clever but weak. Your bodies break easily. You have no natural weapons like claws or poison. You are perfect prey." Lisa wanted to laugh, but she stayed quiet. These aliens had watched humans for years, but they had only seen the surface. They saw people living peaceful lives in cities and towns. They saw families having picnics in parks. They saw children playing games. What they did not see was what humans became when their families were in danger. The alien called Velnas worked at a computer station. "Commander, the hunting preserves are ready. We have force fields around 12 human settlements. The humans inside cannot escape. They do not even know we are here yet." "Excellent," Zethkol said. "How many prey items do we have?" "About 15,000 humans spread across all the preserves. Men, women, and children, just like you ordered." Lisa felt sick. These monsters were talking about her people like they were animals to be hunted for fun. She had tried to warn them about human nature, but they would not listen. They thought they knew everything about Earth because they had watched from space. Eskarath made a buzzing sound that was laughter for his species. "This will be the greatest hunt in galactic history. A death world full of clever prey. My collection will be legendary." The hunters spent the next hour checking their weapons and armor. They had energy rifles that could burn through steel. They wore protective suits that could stop bullets. Some carried nets made of super strong materials that could hold a charging elephant. "Remember the rules," Zethkol announced. "This is a proper hunt. We give the prey a sporting chance. No orbital bombardment, no chemical weapons. We hunt them face to face with honor." "What about their technology?" asked Veltanis. "They have weapons too. Simple projectile weapons. Primitive explosives. Nothing that can penetrate our armor. Besides, they will be too scared to fight. Prey always runs when the predators arrive." Lisa closed her eyes. These aliens had studied human bodies and human tools, but they had never studied human hearts. They did not understand what happened when humans were cornered with no way out. They did not understand that humans had been the top predator on Earth for thousands of years, not because they were the strongest or fastest, but because they never gave up. The ship's computer announced landing preparations. On the viewing screen, Lisa could see forests and mountains growing larger. They were heading for one of the preserves in the Pacific Northwest. A small town called Cedar Falls was about to become a hunting ground. Jake Martinez was checking trail cameras in the forest when the sky went dark. He looked up and saw something impossible. A massive metal ship was floating over the valley like a storm cloud. Smaller ships broke away from it and landed in different spots around the town. Jake had been a park ranger for 15 years. He knew every tree and rock in these mountains. He also knew that what he was seeing was not from Earth. He grabbed his radio and called the sheriff's office. "Danny, you need to get on the radio right now. We have a situation." Sheriff Danny Cooper had just finished his coffee when Jake's call came in. "What kind of situation, Jake?" "The kind where we need to call the military. There are alien ships landing around town." Danny thought Jake was joking until he looked out his office window. A silver ship the size of a football field sat in the middle of Miller's wheat field. Strange creatures in armor were walking down a ramp. The town's emergency siren started wailing. People came out of their houses and stores to see what was happening. Some screamed when they saw the aliens. Others stood frozen in shock. Dr. Amy Watson was treating a patient with a broken arm when the sirens started. She looked out the clinic window and saw something that made her drop her medical chart. Tall, insect-like creatures were walking through the street, carrying weapons that looked like science fiction movie props. One of the creatures pointed its weapon at old Pete Jackson's truck. A beam of red light shot out and melted the engine into slag. Pete jumped out and ran toward the hardware store. Amy realized this was not a friendly first contact. These things were here to hurt people. The aliens moved through Cedar Falls like they owned it. They seemed to be enjoying the fear they caused. Some humans tried to run, but they discovered they could not leave town. An invisible wall blocked every road and path. They were trapped. Zethkol watched from a hilltop as his hunters spread out through the valley. Everything was going according to plan. The humans were panicking just as prey should. Soon the real hunt would begin. He did not notice Jake Martinez watching him through binoculars from across the valley. Jake's face showed no fear, only the careful attention of someone planning his next move. When Jake lowered the binoculars, he was smiling. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of a predator who had just found his prey. The aliens gave the humans of Cedar Falls 1 hour to run and hide before the hunt began. They thought this was being sporting. They did not know they were giving the humans time to organize. Sheriff Danny Cooper had been in the Army before coming home to Cedar Falls. As soon as the aliens announced their game, he switched from small-town sheriff to combat commander. He used the police radio to reach every person in town. Listen up, everyone. This is not a drill. We have hostile aliens who want to hunt us for sport, but we are not going to be anyone's prey. If you can hear this, get to the community center now. Dr. Amy Watson was already there with her medical supplies. She had served as an Army medic before medical school. Pete Jackson arrived carrying a toolbox and a hunting rifle. Despite being 60 years old, Pete moved like a soldier. He had been a combat engineer in 3 wars. More people gathered quickly. Mary Stone brought her teenage sons and a bag of camping gear. Bill Turner showed up with his construction crew and a truck full of tools. Even old Mrs. Roberts came, carrying a shotgun that belonged to her late husband. How many of these things are there? Danny asked Jake, who had made it back to town. I counted maybe 30 in our area, Jake replied. They split up into small groups. I think they plan to hunt us like we're deer. That's their first mistake, Pete said while unpacking his tools. Deer don't shoot back. Danny looked around the room at his neighbors. These were not soldiers, but they were tough mountain people who knew how to work together. Most of them hunted for food every winter. They understood the forest better than any alien visitor. All right, here's what we're going to do, Danny announced. We're not running scared through the woods. We're going to make these things sorry they picked our town. Amy started organizing medical stations in different buildings. Pete began showing people how to make simple traps from hardware store supplies. Jake drew maps showing the best places to set up ambushes. The aliens had given them an hour. The humans used every minute. Hunter Prime Eskarath enjoyed the fear sense coming from the human settlement. His insect senses could smell terror from miles away. He and 2 other hunters moved through the forest, following the heat signatures of fleeing humans. The prey is moving toward the old mining area, said Hunter Velkos. Perfect. We can corner them in the tunnels. Skrath's mandibles clicked with pleasure. I want to take one alive for my collection. The female specimens look interesting. They followed the human scent trail through the trees, stepping carefully around the local plants. They had studied Earth's dangerous flora and knew which ones were poisonous. What they did not study was human cleverness. The trail led to a small clearing where several humans had obviously stopped to rest. Skrath could see footprints and smell their fear sweat. The prey had gone toward an old wooden bridge over a creek. They're trying to use the water to hide their scent, Velkos said. Clever but useless. Eskarath stepped onto the bridge first. It seemed solid enough to hold his weight. Halfway across, he heard a snapping sound. The bridge suddenly tilted sideways, throwing all 3 aliens into the creek below. But this was not just any creek. Pete Jackson had spent the morning redirecting water from an old mining sluice. The aliens found themselves being swept toward a waterfall they had not seen from above. Worse, the water was full of the sharp rocks that Pete had dumped upstream. Velkos managed to grab a tree branch, but Eskarath went over the falls. His armor was strong enough to protect him from bullets, but it was not designed for a 50-foot drop onto granite boulders. The third alien, Korthdal, pulled himself out of the water and activated his communicator. Command, we have a problem. The humans are fighting back. Above the creek, Jake Martinez watched through his binoculars. When Iskarath did not get up from the rocks below, Jake allowed himself a small smile. 1 down, 29 to go. Commander Zethkol could not believe what he was hearing. What do you mean they are fighting back?
They are prey animals.
Sir, Hunter Prime Iskarath is dead. The humans set a trap. They modified the terrain. Zethkol's forearms started making angry gestures. In 20 years of hunting, he had never lost a hunter on the first day. Prey was supposed to run in panic, not set traps like predators. All hunters change tactics. These humans are more dangerous than expected. Hunt in larger groups. Watch for traps. But the humans were just getting started. Mary Stone and her sons knew every deer path in the mountains. They also knew that the aliens' armor made noise when they walked. The boys had spent the afternoon setting up a network of tripwires connected to old cowbells. Now they could track every alien movement by sound. 2 of them are coming up the North Trail, whispered her son Kevin. Let them come, Mary replied. She had been hunting these woods since she was 10 years old. The aliens thought they were being sneaky, but they sounded like elephants to human ears. When they reached the spot where the trail narrowed between 2 large rocks, Mary triggered her trap. She had not tried to build anything fancy. She just rolled a boulder down the hill at exactly the right moment. Physics did the rest. 1 alien jumped aside in time. The other did not. The sound of the impact echoed through the valley. At the same time, Bill Turner's crew was dealing with their own group of aliens. These creatures had energy weapons, but they still needed to see their targets to shoot. The construction workers knew how to operate in dangerous conditions where visibility was limited. They had filled the old limestone quarry with thick smoke using road flares and diesel fuel. Then they waited with tools that could break concrete. When the confused aliens stumbled through the smoke, the humans attacked from all sides. Alien armor could stop bullets, but it could not stop a sledgehammer swung by a man who built houses for a living. By sunset, the aliens had lost 8 hunters. The humans had lost no one. Commander Zethkol paced back and forth on his ship's bridge. This is impossible. They are using primitive weapons. Sir, said Velnaz from his computer station, I think we underestimated their tactical abilities. They are not fighting like prey. They are fighting like predators. Lisa Grant had been listening to the communications all day. I tried to warn you, she said. Humans don't just live on this death world. They conquered it. Every dangerous animal, every poisonous plant, every natural disaster. Humans learned to survive it all. And now you've given them something new to hunt. Zethkol turned his reptilian glare toward her. We are the greatest hunters in the galaxy. Maybe, Lisa replied with a smile that reminded him uncomfortably of Jake Martinez's expression. But you've never hunted anything that hunts back. The news spread faster than wildfire. Radio operators in Cedar Falls managed to contact other towns before the aliens could block their communications. Within hours, every human settlement trapped in the alien hunting preserves knew exactly what they were facing. Colonel Ben Hayes sat in a secret military bunker 300 miles away, listening to reports from around the globe. The aliens had set up hunting preserves on every continent, but they had made a critical error. They had underestimated human communication networks. Sir, we're getting reports from all 12 preserve locations, said his communications officer. The pattern is the same everywhere. The aliens are getting slaughtered. Ben studied the map on his computer screen. Red dots showed alien hunter positions. Blue dots showed human resistance groups. The red dots were disappearing fast. What's our status in the Amazon preserve? He asked. Tony Rivera's group has eliminated 15 alien hunters using traditional jungle warfare tactics. They're using blow darts with poison from local frogs. Australia? The locals have introduced the aliens to some of the more unfriendly native wildlife. Apparently, alien armor doesn't protect against a 2-meter crocodile with anger management issues. Dr. Rachel Stone worked at her computer, analyzing intercepted alien communications. As a psychologist, she understood something the military minds might miss. These alien hunters were not just losing, they were breaking down mentally. Colonel, you need to hear this, Rachel said, playing back a recorded message. This was broadcast from one of their ships an hour ago. The translation software converted alien speech to English. Command, this is Hunter Velgorak. We have lost contact with 3 hunting parties. The humans are not behaving like prey. They are setting coordinated ambushes across multiple locations. Request immediate extraction. Denied, came the reply. You are the elite hunters of the galaxy. Deal with it. Rachel paused the recording. Colonel, These creatures have hunted across hundreds of worlds. They've never faced a species that fights back as a coordinated group. The psychological impact is devastating them. Back in Cedar Falls, the humans were discovering something interesting about their alien visitors. When scared, the creatures made mistakes. Jake Martinez had been tracking a group of 3 aliens for most of the day. They were moving in a tight formation, watching for traps. But they were also jumping at every sound. The confident hunters from that morning had become nervous, trigger-happy soldiers. Jake decided to test something. He picked up a rock and threw it into the bushes 30 feet away from his hiding spot. All 3 aliens immediately fired their energy weapons at the sound, lighting up the forest like a laser show. They gave away their exact position and wasted ammunition shooting at a rock. Jake smiled and moved to his next position. These aliens might have better technology, but they did not understand the most basic rule of hunting. Stay calm and think before you act. Meanwhile, Amy Watson was learning something else about alien psychology. She had captured one of the creatures that had been injured in Pete Jackson's boulder trap. The alien was hurt but not dying, so she was treating its wounds. "Why are you helping me?" the creature asked in broken English. "I came here to hunt your kind." "Because that's what humans do," Amy replied while bandaging the alien's arm. "We help the wounded, even our enemies." The alien looked confused. "This makes no sense. You should kill me or leave me to die." "Maybe that's why you're losing this hunt," Amy said. "You think like predators, but you don't understand humans at all. We don't just hunt. We also protect, heal, and work together. That's what makes us different." The alien stared at her with its large black eyes. For the first time since arriving on Earth, it looked afraid of something other than death. Sam Rodriguez was 16 years old and the best computer hacker in 3 counties. While the adults fought the aliens in the forest, Sam had a different mission. He was trying to break into their computer systems. It took him 6 hours, but he finally found a way in through their communication network. What he discovered made him call Colonel Hayes immediately. "Sir, I'm inside their system," Sam reported. "You're not going to believe this. They have hunting preserves on 12 different continents, but they're all connected to one central command ship. Can you do anything useful with that access?" Ben asked. "I'm already doing it," Sam replied. "I'm sending false position reports to their hunters. I'm making them think there are humans where there aren't any, and hiding the real human positions. Oh, and I might have accidentally triggered their emergency fire suppression system. Their main ship is now full of flame-retardant foam." Ben laughed despite the seriousness of the situation. "Good work, son." But the most important discovery came from Matt Turner, a Special Forces operative who had been studying captured alien equipment. He found something that changed everything. "Colonel Hayes, we have a problem," Matt radioed from his position near the aliens' landing site. "I've been watching their ships with thermal imaging. There are more aliens than we thought." "How many more?" "Sir, I count at least 200 aliens total, spread across all the preserves. But here's the thing, they're not all hunters. Most of them are support crew, technicians, and ship operators. The actual hunters number may be 40 total." Rachel Stone immediately understood the implications. "That means we've already eliminated more than half their hunting force. They're running out of actual predators." The psychological warfare was working better than anyone had hoped. The remaining alien hunters were starting to refuse orders. Their communications were full of panic and demands to retreat. But the humans were not done yet. They had learned something important about their enemy. These aliens had never faced a species that could adapt and learn during a fight. In the Montana Preserve, local ranchers had figured out that alien armor was weak at the joints. They modified their cattle prods to deliver stronger electrical shocks and started targeting specific points on the alien bodies. In the Florida Preserve, humans were using airboats and alligator knowledge to hunt aliens in the swamps. The creatures' advanced sensors meant nothing in an environment where everything was dangerous and most of it moved. By the end of the second day, the alien hunting expedition was in complete chaos. They had come to Earth expecting to hunt clever prey. Instead, they found themselves being systematically eliminated by a species that treated warfare like a science. Commander Zeth Cole stood on his bridge, looking at casualty reports he could not believe. 26 hunters dead, 12 more missing and presumed dead, 6 injured and begging for medical evacuation. "Sir," said Velnas, "the hunting parties are requesting permission to withdraw to the ships." "Denied," Zeth Cole snarled. "We are not leaving until we have trophies." But even as he spoke, he could see Earth's forest through his viewing screen. Somewhere down there, humans were moving through the darkness with that same calm smile Jake Martinez had worn. They were not prey anymore. They were the hunters now. The alien command ship Apex Hunter was no longer the confident predator vessel that had arrived at Earth. Emergency lights flashed red throughout the corridors. Smoke from Sam Rodriguez's hacking still drifted through the ventilation systems. Worst of all, the casualty reports kept coming. General Kate Murphy stood in her underground command center, watching satellite feeds from around the planet. As Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, she had coordinated military responses to natural disasters, terrorist attacks, and nuclear accidents. But she had never managed a global hunt before. Status report, she ordered. 43 confirmed alien hunter deaths across all preserves, reported her intelligence officer. We estimate less than 10 active hunters remaining. However, we have a new problem. Kate looked at the tactical display. Show me. The aliens are no longer hunting humans. They're hiding in their dropships and calling for support from their main vessel. Our sources indicate they're planning to use orbital bombardment to eliminate all the preserves. Kate's expression hardened. That changes the rules of engagement. If they're going to break their own hunting laws, then we stop playing their game. She opened a secure channel to all preserve commanders. All units, this is General Murphy. The gloves are off. Begin Operation Apex Reversal. Matt Turner had been waiting for this order. He and his Special Forces team had spent the last day studying the alien dropships from hiding. The ships were tough, but they had weaknesses. Everything had weaknesses if you knew where to look. All right, people, Matt whispered to his team. These things came here to hunt us for sport. Time to show them what real hunting looks like. The aliens had made their ships into fortresses. But they had forgotten something important about Earth. This was a planet where humans had learned to destroy fortresses. Pete Jackson had not just been a combat engineer in the Army. He had specialized in explosive demolition. When Matt's team contacted him for advice, Pete smiled the same predator smile that Jake Martinez had shown on that first day. You don't attack the ship directly, Pete explained as he worked with improvised materials. You attack what keeps it flying. That night, humans began their own hunt. But they were not hunting for sport or trophies. They were hunting for survival, and that made them infinitely more dangerous. The first dropship died when its landing supports mysteriously exploded. The ship tilted sideways and crashed into the forest. The aliens inside survived the crash, but they found themselves trapped in a metal box surrounded by humans who knew every tree and rock in the area. The second dropship tried to take off and retreat to orbit, but its engines failed during launch. Sam Rodriguez had uploaded a virus that turned the ship's own computer systems against it. The vessel fell from 300 feet up and buried itself in Miller's wheat field. Commander Zeth Cole watched his hunting expedition collapse in real time. How are they doing this? They have primitive technology. Lisa Grant had been moved to the bridge so the aliens could watch her reactions to human victories. She was no longer tied up because the aliens were too busy panicking to worry about one human prisoner. You still don't understand, Lisa said. Technology isn't what makes humans dangerous. It's how we think. You hunt for pleasure. We hunt because we have to. That's the difference. Impossible, Zeth Cole snarled. We are apex predators. No, Lisa replied calmly. You're just bullies with better weapons. Humans are apex predators. We proved it by conquering a death world using nothing but our brains and our refusal to quit. The truth of her words was being demonstrated on every continent. In Africa, humans were using traditional tribal hunting techniques combined with modern military tactics. In Asia, ancient warrior traditions merged with contemporary special forces training. In South America, jungle warfare experts turned entire rainforest regions into killing grounds. But the most devastating blow came from an unexpected source. Nina Collins was a journalist who had been trapped in the Australian preserve. When the aliens arrived, she had no military training and no special survival skills. What she had was a camera and a satellite uplink that the aliens had not detected. For 3 days, she had been broadcasting everything to news networks around the world. The global audience watched as human beings fought back against creatures that saw them as prey. They saw ordinary people become heroes. They saw neighbors die protecting each other. Most importantly, they saw humans win. The broadcasts reached beyond Earth. Other species across the galaxy started receiving Nina's reports through communication networks the aliens could not control. For the first time, the galaxy was seeing what humans really were. Dr. Marcus Webb, a xenobiologist monitoring alien communications from the CDC, made a chilling discovery. General Murphy, you need to hear this. The aliens are getting messages from their homeworlds. Kate listened to the translated broadcast. Command Vessel Apex Hunter, this is Velkari High Council. We are receiving reports that your hunting expedition has been defeated by the prey species. This is unacceptable. You will eliminate all human settlements by any means necessary or face execution for cowardice. They're being ordered to commit genocide, Kate realized. Yes, ma'am. But there's something else. I'm detecting massive energy signatures from their main ship. I think they're charging weapons capable of destroying entire cities. Kate felt ice in her veins, but her voice remained steady. All units, Priority Alpha. The aliens are preparing to break every law of civilized warfare. We respond in kind. High above the Earth, Commander Zethkol made the decision that would define first contact between humans and the galaxy. If he could not bring back hunting trophies, he would bring back a dead planet. Charge the planetary bombardment cannons, he ordered. We will sterilize this world from orbit. But Zethkol had forgotten something crucial. For 3 days, humans had been studying captured alien technology. For 3 days, brilliant minds like Sam Rodriguez had been learning how alien systems worked. For 3 days, humans had been preparing for exactly this moment. Jake Martinez stood on the mountain ridge where he had first spotted the alien command ship. In his hands, he held a device built from captured alien communicators and human engineering genius. The device looked simple, but it contained a virus designed specifically for Velkari computer systems. This is for my town, Jake said quietly, and activated the transmitter. Across the globe, similar devices activated simultaneously. The virus spread through the alien fleet's network like wildfire. Within minutes, every alien ship found its computer systems turning against it. On the bridge of Apex Hunter, alarms started screaming. The planetary bombardment cannons powered down. Life support began to fail. Navigation systems went offline. What is happening? Zethkol demanded. Velnas frantically worked at his station. Sir, the humans have infiltrated our entire network. They're taking control of our ships. For the first time since arriving at Earth, Commander Zethkol felt genuine fear. These humans had not just defeated his hunters. They had turned his own weapons against him. The last alien hunter on the ground was found by Matt Turner's team, hiding in a cave and begging for mercy. When Matt's men brought the creature back to base, it kept repeating the same thing over and over. We were wrong about Earth. We thought we were hunting prey. But there is only one apex predator on this world, and it has been watching us with those terrible eyes and that calculating smile. The command ship Apex Hunter drifted helplessly in orbit above Earth. Its weapons were dead, its engines offline, and its life support systems failing. Commander Zethkol sat in his command chair, staring at screens that showed nothing but human control codes. Sir, Velnas reported with a trembling voice, the humans are sending us a message. The main screen flickered to life, showing President Ellen Hayes sitting behind her desk in the White House. She looked calm, professional, and absolutely terrifying to creatures who had just learned what humans could do when angry. Commander Zethkol, she began. My name is Ellen Hayes, and I speak for the human species. Your hunting expedition is over. You have exactly 1 hour to surrender your ships and submit to our terms, or we will demonstrate why Earth is considered a death world. Zethkol's forearms shook with rage. You cannot threaten us. We are the Velkari. We have conquered 100 worlds. President Hayes' expression did not change. You conquered worlds full of prey species. Earth is not full of prey. It is full of predators who have been waiting their entire evolutionary history for someone like you to arrive. The screen changed to show footage from around the globe. Alien hunters running in terror from human forces. Dropships burning in forests. The last few surviving aliens begging for mercy from humans who had spent 3 days learning to be monsters. But the most frightening image was the simplest one. Jake Martinez stood on his mountain ridge looking directly into the camera. His smile was not cruel or angry. It was the patient, calculating expression of a predator who knew he had already won. That smile, President Hayes continued, is the last thing hundreds of your hunters saw before they died. It is the smile of a species that has never been prey, Not even on a world that kills everything. We learned to hunt Ice Age predators with sharpened sticks. We survived plagues that killed millions. We split atoms and reached for the stars. And now you have given us a new challenge. Lisa Grant had been returned to her quarters on the alien ship, but she could hear everything through the communication system. She felt a mixture of pride and sadness. Pride that her species had proven what she always knew. Humans were not prey for anyone. Sadness that first contact had to happen this way. Down on Earth, the cleanup was already beginning. Dr. Amy Watson worked in a field hospital, treating the few human casualties from 3 days of fighting. The numbers were almost unbelievable. Hundreds of alien hunters dead, fewer than 50 humans injured, and only 12 human deaths. "How did we do this?" asked one of her patients, a young man who had been grazed by an energy weapon while helping set up traps. "We did what humans always do," Amy replied while bandaging his wound. "We adapted. We improvised. We worked together, and we refused to quit." Pete Jackson was examining captured alien technology with Dr. Marcus Webb. The old engineer's eyes sparkled with the joy of someone who had found new toys to take apart. "This energy weapon technology is interesting," Pete said, "but their defense systems are garbage. They designed everything to fight other advanced civilizations. They never prepared for enemies who fight dirty." Marcus nodded. "According to their computer files, they've never encountered a species that uses psychological warfare, asymmetric tactics, and environmental advantages all at the same time. That's because they never hunted real predators before," Pete replied. "They hunted advanced prey. There's a difference." In the depths of the internet, Sam Rodriguez was making the most important discovery of all. The alien communication networks had given him access to something incredible: the Galactic Internet. "General Murphy," he called excitedly, "you need to see this. I'm getting messages from all over the galaxy. Other species are watching what happened here." Kate looked at Sam's computer screen, which showed translated messages from dozens of different alien civilizations. "The prey species of Earth has defeated the Velkari hunters. This changes everything. We always wondered what would happen when the hunters met real predators. The humans fight like the old legends say our ancestors did, before we became civilized. Perhaps it is time to reconsider who the real apex species are." The most interesting message came from a species called the Zephyrians. "We greet the humans of Earth. We too have suffered from Valkyrie hunting expeditions. Perhaps it is time to discuss an alliance," Kate smiled. "Sam, can you send a reply?" "Yes, ma'am." "What should I tell them?" "Tell them Earth is open for business. But anyone who comes here better come in peace, because we've proven what happens to those who don't." Back in space, Commander Zeth Cole faced the reality that his mighty hunting fleet was now a collection of floating scrap metal, controlled by the very prey he had intended to hunt. The humans had not just defeated him, they had humiliated the entire concept of the galactic hunting culture. His communication officer received one final message from the Velkari home world. "Commander, the High Council has reviewed reports of your failure. You are hereby stripped of rank and exiled. Do not return." Zeth Cole realized he was no longer a mighty hunter. He was just another refugee dependent on human mercy. President Hayes appeared on screen one last time. "Commander, we offer you and your surviving crew a choice. You can accept transport to a neutral world where you will be tried by the galactic community for your crimes, or you can remain on Earth as our guests, helping us understand galactic politics while we decide how to introduce ourselves to your neighbors." "Why would you show us mercy?" Zeth Cole asked. "Because that's what separates us from you," President Hayes replied. "We don't hunt for pleasure. We fight to protect our families and our future. The fight is over. Now we show you what humans are really like." 6 months later, Jake Martinez stood in the same spot where he had first seen the alien ships land. But now the view was different. Construction crews were building Earth's first spaceport in the valley below. Ships from friendly alien species landed regularly, bringing trade goods and diplomatic messages. The Velkari hunting preserve had become humanity's gateway to the stars. Jake still carried binoculars, but now he used them to watch for incoming ships instead of hunting aliens. When a new vessel appeared in the sky, he would radio the control tower with identification and landing instructions. "Tower, this is Lookout 1, he would say. "We have a Zephyrian cargo ship requesting permission to land." "Copy that, Lookout 1, permission granted." Welcome them to Earth. Jake would smile as he watched each ship land. It was the same smile that had terrified alien hunters, the confident expression of a predator in its own territory. But now it meant something different. It was the smile of a species that had proven it belonged among the stars. The galaxy had learned an important lesson from Earth. There were prey species and predator species, but there was something else too. There were guardian species, creatures who protected their own and welcomed friends, but who could become the most dangerous hunters in the universe when threatened. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy, not as conquerors or victims, but as the guardians of Earth. And every species that heard the story understood the message. Welcome to Earth. We hope you enjoyed your stay, but if you come here to hunt, remember that smile. Remember that on this world there is only one apex predator, and it has been waiting for you.